All right, quiet, I'm filming. Hey everybody, it's Becky from Being on Life again. Welcome to, I think today is day 5. So I decided to show you that being vegan also allows you to enjoy some real tasty goodies. So I make this yummy candy treat. So I mixed up a bunch of different batches yesterday. I put it on parchment paper so that it dries overnight. And then once it's dried, then you simply scrape the candy off into a bowl. Now, this particular flavor is blueberry, and because I'm lucky enough to live in the Pacific Northwest, I can spend way too much time in the summer out in the berry fields, and I pick these berries myself. So I have a freezer out in the garage filled with berries. And I have got this, as I said, this is blueberry. I also have Marionberry, I have raspberry, and for those two types of candies, I actually make my own handmade sauce for those. So these are definitely take me a little bit of time. It is a labor of love, but the point is these are vegan. I can make them myself, and it was a great holiday treat this year for the entire family. So now I've got that scraped off into a bowl by parchment paper. And then, once you've got it scraped into a bowl, then you're going to get in there, and you're going to mush it up a little bit, because when it dries, some areas are a little wetter than others, so you want to make sure it's a nice even consistency. So here's some samples of various pieces in the process. So once you've got it scraped off into a bowl, then I've got this nice little scooper that I got at the local food service store, and I just scoop it in there, and I make little balls, and there you go. Nice little ball. So once I make the balls, now we get to dip them in chocolate. So there's 2 ways to do this. Typically everybody prefers dark chocolate, which has to be tempered. So I prefer Ghirardelli's 60% cocoa. So now I'm going to take my chocolate, and I'm going to put it in the microwave, and I'm going to melt it down so that it gets to a certain temperature. After you temper the dark chocolate, they come out a really pretty, nice chocolatey color, or brown color. But today, I'm going to dip white chocolate, because these are for my nephew and his girlfriend down in Arizona, and they said that they prefer white chocolate. So since I had already dipped 3 of the flavors that I made in dark chocolate, I drizzled white chocolate over the top of the peppermint flavor, the raspberry flavor, and the vanilla flavor that I already made. So hopefully they'll like those. But here we have raspberry, we have coconut, and we have blueberry. Okay, so now my dark chocolate. Tempering chocolate, by the way, is rather difficult, I find. It takes a lot of time to learn how to do this, and you definitely have to get it to the right temperature. The most important thing is you don't want your chocolate to be too hot. So when I put it in the microwave, I'm only putting it in there for a couple of seconds at a time. Now, for Christmas, my sister bought me this little chocolate fondue melting pot, which actually does not work to temper chocolate because it melts at 140 degrees, and to temper chocolate you initially want to heat it up to somewhere around 110 degrees is what works for me, and then you cool it off and then you heat it back up. This thing melts at 140, which is too hot. It's going to burn my dark chocolate, and then it keeps it warm at 104, which is too hot to dip dark chocolate. but it works just great for white chocolate. So, at least I hope it will. So, I'm going to take my little piece of raspberry marzipan. I'm going to dip it in here. And then using a spatula, I'm going to gently coat it with the white chocolate. Then I scrape the bottom so that I've got a nice smooth surface. And there you go. We have dipped our candy. Now we're going to do a coconut. Now, everybody has their favorites. When I started making this, I sent 10 test samples out to family and friends and asked for all of their feedback. And pretty much every flavor that I've made, everybody loves. But there are a couple of favorites. And anything that has to do with berries from the Pacific Northwest is right up there at the top of everybody's list. If you're not fortunate enough to live here in the Northwest, then you can buy your berries frozen from the store. Now blueberries, I just take the blueberries that I pick, I put them in baggies, I wash them, put them in baggies, and I freeze them. The raspberry and the Marionberry, I actually have a special sauce that I make to do this. So now we have got these pieces nicely dipped in the white chocolate, and these are going to dry really fast. So I put them on parchment paper to let them dry, and then these will be ready to go later tonight, and I can send them out to my nephew. So now back to my dark chocolate. So as you put it in there, you just keep melting and cooling and melting and mixing, and it is quite the process. And it still hasn't quite, it's getting close to where I want it. But the process is the same. You pick up your chocolate, you dip it in there, and you get a perfectly coated piece of chocolate that looks gorgeous. These are absolutely yummy, so I thank you for watching, and just remember, just because you're vegan doesn't mean you can't enjoy good food too. Bye!